Hi there, it's Bernii here with you again today with another process video for the Scrapping Clearly design team. Today I'm creating a layout with some goodies from the Chamel Lane Starshine collection, which is available in the Scrapping Clearly shop. I'm going to create a layout with a huge title. I've been wanting to create one of these for quite some time, and today I thought while I have the weekend to myself that I'd actually have a go. So I printed out two options to start with two slightly different fonts. I have this quote, "I love you to the moon and back." I say that to my son. That's our little thing together, and when I tell him I love him to the moon and back, he replies back to me and says, "I love you to the stars and back." So this is our little thing together. So I wanted to record that. I've had this photo for a couple of years now. It was a photo that I took against one of the churches in town here. We went for one of my nephew's christenings, and yeah, just while we were waiting, I snapped a couple of photos of my children, and I grabbed one of these of my son, and I love it. So what I'm doing here is I backed the pieces of paper, all the little alphabets with the different pattern paper, and I'm just using washi tape to hold it down, and then I'm going through it and hand cutting out the titles. Now you probably can't see, but I've got a daylight. I've got one of those OT daytime lights above me there, so I'm actually able to see through the um, where it's printed, so I can actually follow the lines and cut out the alphabet. So I'm just facing it down, so at least it's when I cut it, it faces the right way. Just going to go through here now and cut them out. I went through and selected, and I tried to space out as best I could the colors so that it wouldn't all be bunched up like all the dark blues in one area of the layout, and just spacing it out there. So there it is. I've cut out all the letters there, and now I'm deciding that I want to create some watercolor in the background. I wasn't going to start with, but I just think it needs something else just to ground all those random letters and colors together. So I'm just trimming down a bit of American Crafts cardstock here, and I've sewn around the edges, and I've decided to do that first because I know once I add my watercolor, the paper, well, hopefully it shouldn't warp, and it doesn't in this case, but sometimes it does. So I like to sew first and then add my gesso like I've done here in a really fine and thin coat. And then afterwards, once I do all the watercolor, I can then go ahead and adhere that down to the paper. And if it is a little bit warped, it just makes it easier because you can press it out and straighten up the paper. So I'm going down now and deciding to adhere that down. I don't have my little helper with me today to unpick all those adhesives. But anyway, I still like doing that myself. And yeah, I'm just going to hear that down. I've been rocking out to some music. Oh, here. And then I decided, oh my Lord, what I should have done is cut out a part of that background paper because I really, really like it. So that's why I tried to pull it apart there and to cut it out, but it was too late, too much adhesive. So what I'm doing here is I'm just testing out some of the watercolors to how they would match up with everything. I had a piece of random paper there. I don't know if you saw it before. It had all cat paw prints. It's been raining here. It's been pouring, and the cat came inside and, of course, had to sit on top of my white cardstock and make himself comfortable with his dirty paws. So that's the piece of paper that I'm using to just try out which yellow I wanted to use. So I've decided to go for this one, and I'm just going to randomly place this yellow watercolor with the packaging technique. I've just gone through as well with some Studio Calico Taxi. It's called Taxi spray, and I'm just using the tube at the end just to create some splatters. And I'm feeling it's just a little bit empty, so I'm going to come back through with some blue just to tie in there with Hunter's shirt, just to add a bit more depth to it. And I'm liking how it's coming along. I'm really pleased with how this layout is coming along. I think I need to create another one of these layouts. But this time I think, well, next time I go around, I think I'm going to try it with a little bit bigger. This one, I've got it in my blog post, which you'll see underneath. It's actually a font that's already on your Windows program. It's just one of the basic ones, and I use it because it's nice and thick, so it was easy to hand cut out. And this is at a size 120, I enlarged it to, or maybe it was 170, but I think the next one that I'd like to try is about at a 200 to 20 to 250 size, just a really nice, big, bold layout with the title there. So I'm liking how it is. I'm just going to adhere it down with some really, really fine, thin adhesive tape. I don't want to put too much tape because I'm going to run it through my sewing machine, and I don't want the tape to actually jam up the sewing needle itself. So there it is. I've come back and I actually decided to do it with some black. I was going to go white, and I did start with white initially, but it just got lost. It just looked too random. So at least with a bit of black there, it just kind of grounds it. And I'm just turning up the edges there. I like it when it looks a little bit messy. And I'm trying to use that flare. I received 4 of the beautiful flares from this collection, and I'm desperately trying to use them because they're just adorable. But I'm finding a little bit difficult. So I've come in here now and adding some black splotches with my Studio Calico ink. Usually I do this at the end, but I thought I'd do it now because um, actually, I'm not too sure why. I thought I'd try it now just so I can see how to create that visual triangle with the dark colors. So that's why I'm going up the top here now with that little star paper there, just to, I don't know if you can see that bit of a triangle that's happening there. I'm just going to go through now and look for some papers to try and create a photo, a cluster behind my photo, finding anything that I can, and layering it all up using the bits and pieces that I've got. I love this collection. I love it. I love it all. I can't wait for Chamel's next collection as well. The colors in this are so bright and it's just working so well. It was only the other day that Hunter was complaining that I don't do enough layouts of him, so I'm jumping at the chance now to create as many as I can, and this collection is perfect. But it works perfectly well with girls as well. So I'm just going to try and use as much as I can of this collection. I can see already that it's going to go a long way for me. And like I've already created a few layouts and each and every one of them look completely different from each other. So it's a really versatile collection. So if you're interested, like Scrapping Clearly has got this. Kylie has got oodles of it in the shop. So I've just gone ahead now and I've adhered everything down, or I haven't yet actually. I'm just going to go now with my Tim Holtz little tiny attacher. And I'm going to go through now and adhere it all down. I just want to get that tissue paper as well, just to ruffle so I can still see a little bit of that green. And then because I've done that, you'll see here in a minute, I'm going to trim down my photo a little bit so I can actually see the green paper. Otherwise the photo takes it all. There it is. Yeah, so I'm just going to trim it down with my little Fiskars trimmer, which I bought for my Project Life albums. And I'm getting close to the end now. I want to use some of this black thread to try and tie in what I've sewn across the letters there. And here again, I'm desperately trying to use some of that flare up the top left hand side of that photo. In the end, I don't end up using it. I'm hoping on the next layout I might be able to. I definitely want to use those flares. They're so cute. They're so adorable. And they're not the normal size flare. They're just a little bit smaller. So I'm just creating another little cluster down the bottom here. And of course it has to be in threes. I can't leave it an even number. It has to be odd. And a bit more thread up the top there. And just seeing what I can use from those little cardstock stickers. And adding my journaling, and I use a 0.2 fine tip pen to add it in there. Sorry about the headshot. That reminds me I need to go book in with my hairdresser and get my hair done sooner rather than later. Yeah, just adding in here about how Hunter and I use our little I love you to the moon and back and I love you to the stars and back. I never want to forget that. It's just so sweet when they're at this age and they think their mums are their whole entire world, and he's little mummy's boy, and I love that. So I'm adhering everything down still. I've got one more bit of journaling that I'm going to add to this. I'm going to add it to the left there. Oh, but first I'm going to go through. I just wanted to add a bit of stamping, and it's not a date stamp, but I have this cool Studio Calico stamp, and it's got these little stars on it, and I thought it'd be perfect to use to go with our little saying, you know, with the stars and back. So I've just punched it underneath some of those words. Now, here it is. I add a bit of writing to every back of my layout of when I created it, who created it, what date and where, so that if one of my layouts ever goes traveling somewhere, they know who it's from. And this is it. This is my layout. I love this layout. It was so fun to create. I can't wait to try it again. And thank you so much for coming by today and watching my process video. See you later. I'll see you next